Ooh, man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. What is going on? Everybody, this is the O that you should know. Omar Akil Solomon, one half of the Culture Cast. For the culture, by the culture. We do it for the culture. And if you're not down with the culture, we just can't help you, bringing you everything that you need to know in the world of professional wrestling. I am joined by a man known all across the globe. He is my wonderful co-host. Make some noise for Worldwide Ray. What is going on, my brother?
Awesome takeover, and I'm ready to talk about it.
Man, I'm so ready to talk about Takeover. We might be joined, who knows, by anybody today. So definitely stay on the lookout for that. But we definitely just wanted to jump on to talk about Takeover because it was such an amazing card. Make sure you guys, if you're not already, subscribe on Apple Podcast, Anchor, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Rate us, review us, tell a friend. Take the link, send it out to somebody. You know, we got some great views on our last episode, and we definitely appreciate that. Also, you guys can follow us on social media. CultureCastPod on Facebook and Instagram. CultureCastPod _ for the Twitter. And Twitter was a buzz yesterday with Takeover, man. If I could ask you, Big Ray, if you could give me one word or phrase to describe Takeover last night on Sunday, what would it be?
I'll have to go with accomplished.
Accomplished. How so? How so?
Uh, I'd like to say like almost. I'm going to say almost every storyline, was fulfilled and successful. We had a lot of surprise returns, so it's like up and down. Like that entire card was great. We didn't know what to expect.
I agree, man. I think to me the best thing about the card, I call it medicine, because it was the Bears lost, and it was a rough Sunday for a brother. And with the Bears losing, I needed medicine. And what better medicine is there than wrestling? And I think Takeover did an amazing job with that, man. Let's go over the card. You guys all watch the show, so feel free to jump in on our social media, join in on the conversation. We have a great little post up on Instagram now. But the show kicked off, and I didn't see this match kicking it off, but it kicked it off. We had Damian Priest and Johnny Gargano. Johnny Takeover. What did you think, man? Damian Priest came away strong with the dub, and he's still the North American title holder.
It's a great win. With victories over Johnny Gargano, like it strengthens the winner of each match, especially because you look at, Johnny's background and his resume. So Damien getting a big win, a big title win at that over Johnny Gargano, like all that does is just skyrocket Damian Priest even more. And like I've heard like a lot of times, like even like right now, he looks like a main roster person that, could soar in the main roster right now. Like he has the look, the character, everything fit for a main roster. And, that win over Johnny Gargano was definitely like the icing on the cake.
I definitely agree. I think Johnny, as a heel, he's doing his thing. He's holding it down. But Damien, and to me, I think the switch really flipped around Takeover War Games. We both were there. So, like, watching him in that, I believe he was in the triple threat match with Killian Dane and Pete Dunn, if I'm not mistaken. Well, no, excuse me. He went against Finn Balor. I'm sorry. No,
Yeah.
Matt Riddle went against Finn Balor. It was with Killian Dane and Pete Dunne. And it was Pete Dunne versus Damian Priest. Why am I just all over the place? Sorry, internet world and podcast world. But no, I mean, he started to flip that switch in November, and I think it was dope to see. I think going against somebody like Johnny, he's really going to push you on a lot of things. He's going to really push you to be technical. He's going to really push you to just fight his way. I think that's what makes Johnny Gargano so great. He puts every match into his own match. You got to adapt to his style, which can be a detriment to some performers, and that's why they end up taking that L. But Damien adapted. He did really well. He's definitely found whoever he is. This character is dope. He's himself. He's having fun. And you love to see it. So shout out to Damian Priest on that W, man. And then like we said on Twitter, Angry Kushida. Angry Kushida.
He's beating on that boy. And I was here for it all.
Velveteen Dream. Ooh, child.
I loved every second of that beating.
You know what? I'm gonna leave it at that. You could tell there was some extra emphasis on that beating, and here at the Culture Cast, we had no issues with that.
I mean, you remember back in the 90s, it was on the Sunday Night Heat where it was the Acolytes versus Public Enemy.
Public Enemy, yep.
You know, the backstage heat that they had because, you know, they were basically being dumbasses backstage, and Vince just told the Acolytes just fuck them up.
Handle it. I still
was saying,
watch that.
Like Triple H told Velveteen to go out first, and while Velveteen is doing his entrance, he was just telling Kushida, like, handle it.
And handle it, he did. Velveteen came dressed up like Doc, you know, Back to the Future, but Angry Kushida is greater than Back to the Future 3. We won't mention Back to the Future 1 and 2 because those are like all-time classics. But 3
is forgettable.
Even though I like 3, it's kind of crazy. I like 3, so I don't like it in terms like as a great movie, but to me, I'll watch it and still like it if that makes sense. But anyways, Kushida first takeover. I loved it, man. He was aggressive. He had just a look in his eyes. He was just ready to fight. He looked like a badass. Like, I'm not here for that Back to the Future time warp Kushida. No, give me badass Kushida in jeans.
I gotta disagree with you right there. You know, the time splitter Kushida is everything. Like, okay, I gotta stop you right.
Maybe for everywhere else, but for WWE right now, though, I think this is the best he's looked. If that makes sense.
I mean, he could still be, you know, the time traveler guy and still kick your ass. You know.
Okay, so he's got to find that balance. But right now, Angry Kushida is winning that battle. No, man. So dope to see Velveteen Dream. Who knows? He might take some time off. He might get called up to the main roster. What we do know is he got his ass beat.
Expeditiously.
Man. Next up, the Drip God. The Drip God. Woo! Drip God. Santos Escobar.
Didn't I tell you guys say drip 3 times?
Drip, drip, drip. Drip, drip, drip.
Just like Dave Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle. That's the first thing I thought about, but then somebody's canceled, so I didn't want to continue. But,
I mean, anything Dave Chappelle wise you're allowed to say.
True that, man. So we had Whose House? Ain't nobody loves me better. Come on. Swerve's house.
But Escobar delivered that eviction notice.
Man, hey, you said it, though. You predicted it earlier in our preview. If you go back and listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, wherever you get your podcasts, you said that will Swerve have help? Because we knew Escobar, he had his homie. He had Joaquin. He had everybody else. You know. So, happy birthday, Joaquin. Well, I believe it's his birthday today, too, by the way.
Yep.
So, happy birthday from the Culture Cast. But then, out of nowhere, a newly repackaged Tahuti Miles came and made it. He's now the Adonis. He is now, let me get the exact proper name for the brothers, you know, because, you know, I'm rooting for everybody black. So I want to make sure I get his, exactly. I want to make sure I get his exact proper name because that was pretty dope. I was pretty excited to see. So, yes, Ashanti Adonis. So, you know, so it's good to see Tahuti repackaged, and he helped out Swerve. But let's talk about the match, man. Talk about nonstop the cruiserweight division title being defended on a takeover, and boy, they delivered. Man, come on, Ray. What do you think?
That's the classic 2 opponents actually knowing each other, having that perfect chemistry. And when you have that perfect chemistry, the match would flourish. And that wasn't the only flourish, you know, match we saw yesterday, but that was like one of the starters.
I mean, it was nonstop action. Swerve, you know, he he just kept the pressure on him. When he made that house call, I thought it was a wrap. I thought it was a wrap after that house call. I'm like, let's go. And then,
Go Escobar, you know.
Hey, drip, man. Santos, that kid is special. That kid, he just controls the ring. And it's not like if you ask me, go back in time, Omar, what do you remember the most exciting thing he did in that match? It wasn't that any moveset. It was just how he carried himself in the ring.
Yeah, it wasn't like a spot fest. You know, it's everything just flourished. Like,
oh yeah, we'll talk about something in the main event later. That definitely was not a spot fest either. But no, kudos. Talk about when two talent. We say it all the time here on the Culture Cast. Take advantage of any ring time that you have, and 2 stars were made. Even though there was only one winner, I definitely believe 2 stars were made. What do you think?
Definitely, I definitely agree. I could see, you know, Swerve Scott, you know, getting other opportunities in NXT. You know, he could possibly go for a North American. You know, if he finds that right person, he can go for a tag team. Who knows? He could possibly go for the top title in NXT.
You know, because it's whose house?
Ron's house.
Swerve's house. Swerve's house.
Ron's house. You know, do you know how many times I've gotten in trouble when I was little, when I used to like fill up the tub with like bubble bath just to reenact the ending of Ron's house when he's like in the tub, like just texting on the phone. That's what my mom used to buy, like the bottles from like Avon. So me as a little Rashard, I used to, oh man, this is my favorite show. So let me, you know, go get in the tub and just upside down. And I didn't even like tilt it. It was just straight upside down. And you should just sit in there and just.
Your mama beat the brakes off your ass, didn't she?
She ain't play about her Avon.
She said, pick your switch. Shout out to Mama Hayes. Shout out to Mama Worldwide. Definitely, man. And speaking of a house, you know, EO runs the female division, the women's division at NXT. But Candice LeRae, you know, she's not that far behind, and they put on a great battle. You know, it's kind of hard to top that first matchup they had, you know, but damn it, you know, then also they were put in a rough spot. You had to follow such an amazing cruiserweight title match. But they did not disappoint. They did not disappoint. Them ladies put on a damn show, man. And EO definitely retains her titles just to show that she's not only the goddess of the skies, but the goddess of NXT. What do you think?
I said it yesterday. It depended on the match placement that Johnny Gargano would try to interfere. Like
you said it.
One of them would try to interfere in the other person's match.
Which was a
smart interference on Johnny's end coming out, you know, with the ref shirt trying to, you know, force the 3 count.
We're going to call you a Nostra Reyes. Like Nostra. Because he literally did predict the entire card yesterday. But then Johnny came out with the slow removal. Like Candice is looking, and you're like, it was so obvious. That's the one part. Like it was. I wish that could have been done a little bit more fluidly, but it was so obvious they were cheating. And it's so. I think it's because they're not used to cheating because they're such typical good guys that it's. I think that's why I was just laughing. Like, come on. No, but them ladies were going blow for blow. Big move after big move, but then EO won. But then we had 2 surprises. Talk about those 2 surprises right after the match, Ray.
It's rare that we have like double returns, you know, focusing on the same person. Like the major surprise was Toni Storm making her return, you know, via one of the big screens there at the new, you know, NXT center,
Capital Performance Center.
Which no one, you know, predicted, you know, she was returning to like the NXT brand. And then like, as far as the second one, everyone, you know, predicted it would be like a male superstar. Like everyone was saying like Bo Dallas, you know, or Samoa Joe or something. Like no one expected it to be Ember Moon returning, you know, to face off with EO. So it's like 2 big targets on EO's back already.
And like the rich only continues to get richer. The deepest and best division arguably in all of wrestling, the NXT women's locker room just got even better. So now, and I can definitely imagine, I can see, because we know Mia Yim is with Retribution now, so she's on the main roster. Mercedes
Martinez.
Mercedes Martinez is also on the main roster with Retribution. I just don't think there's a name for her yet. Shout out to T-Bar and Retribution, by the way. T-Bar got bars. T-Bar got bars. Mace Gang in this piece. But anyway, slap in the entire crew. But no. So you can see maybe even Candice might move up with Johnny. Who knows? Even though, you know, they are true blue, black and gold NXT. But think about this. Io Shirai. You still got Dakota Kai. Tegan Knox, hopefully when she gets healthy in a year, we'll be back.
I mean, honestly, for Tegan, I mean, personally, I think she should call it a career because this would be her third ACL injury in less than 5 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Man, I'm a Derrick Rose fan, so I think you can always get back and get right back up, man. So, but it's definitely tough. It's tough for some. Ooh, it's tough. I don't want to. More power. You got Aaliyah. Then you throw in Ember Moon. Then you throw in Rhea Ripley, who might be coming up, who might be getting moved on to the main roster too. Then you throw in Toni Storm. Like, come on. And like, come on. Like, they can main event their entire NXT show on a Wednesday. Think about it. They could do
Don't forget
Evolution
about
too.
Shotzi.
Hey, Shotzi Blackheart, who's hosting Halloween Havoc coming up at the end of the month. So, and then we got Kaden Carter, Casey Catanzaro. Like, it's lit, bro. We talked about this. That ish lit. That ish is lit. Evolution 2 may really happen from the NXT women's locker room, and I wouldn't be mad.
It's possible.
I would not be mad.
Possible.
So I can definitely see and take this idea, copy this, use it, WWE, an entire NXT takeover only involving the women. What do you think about that?
It is good if and only if we can involve the women from NXT UK as well.
Oh, yeah. So hopefully that's when things get normal, so we can get Kylie Ray and everyone else over there too. So
I mean,
definitely dope.
No, I take that back. I thought Pete was on the original, like on the show, but he's covering the UK shows.
Yeah, he's so funny. I love he's got an amazing shape. So shout out to WWE UK. Now, before we wrap up, gotta talk about the main event. Gotta talk about just the brutality. Shout out to Rhea Ripley. The physicality, the pain. Kyle O'Reilly and Finn Balor put on an exhibition yesterday in the main event to show everyone around the world that you don't need always all those a million high spots. You don't need crazy, powerful moves. Sometimes you just need good old-fashioned wrestling. And that's what that was, man. Talk to me about your thoughts on the main event.
I mean, first I have to disagree with you on the powerful moves because if you haven't seen Kyle O'Reilly's kicks, like
okay, I'm talking about you know what I mean. You know what I mean by powerful moves.
Man, when Kyle O'Reilly listens to Whip That Trick and he's like, "Damn, this dude's spitting." Like,
hey, that man's spitting. Nah, man, that was
Lil
dope.
Jon
that
said, "Do the A-Town stomp." He's like, "Man, this dude's spitting."
and Finn Balor was spitting blood.
That was a huge stiff fest there, and they literally gave it their all. Like,
no question.
I'm still speechless about that match.
It was dope, and it just, I was like, Kyle O'Reilly. Everyone built him up, and so you think sometimes, pressure burps pipes. They built him up saying he's about to put on a show, and so nobody knew what to expect because we've seen so many. Like and of course, when I say everybody didn't know what to expect, I'm not talking about the independent wrestling fans because they know, but the entire NXT universe was just a different world. They had no idea what to expect. And boy, oh boy, there was no disappointment. And then Finn Balor, just kudos to Finn. He was injured. He's been back on NXT, and now he is the Prince. But he was like a ring general yesterday. It was beautiful to see. He was in his elements. It looked like he was just happy wrestling. And to me, that was dope. Like I felt the joy from the screen. My little nephew was watching the wrestling with me yesterday. He just sat down and just was in awe. And to me, it wasn't like the cool moves. He was just watching, like, focused. And to me, that's the sign of a good match. If a little kid who's only 4 years old stops what they're doing and just sits down and watch, and they're quiet, they
quiet. That's a game changer.
For real, man. I felt good, man. But that was a dope match to see. And then, of course, we had everything that happened at the end. But so who knows? It's kind of, once again, Nostra Ray Damas with the Undisputed Era being, are they split? Are it two heels, two faces? Like you called everything, bro. Like, come on. But that ending,
but that ending left me with a lot of questions. Like it definitely left me with the who, what, where, when, why, how.
Everything. And Adam Cole's like, oh, baby. Oh, speaking of which, how did you feel? Because I'm not going to say, I kind of touched myself when I heard, let me rephrase myself. I felt the ratchet spirit when I heard that boom for the first time with the 100 people that was in attendance, and I literally heard a physical boom. I'm like, I felt so relieved. I felt like everything was like life was normal. And to me, that was the best thing of the entire program.
That's definitely a perfect combination of, in-house fans in the digital board. Like, it made it actually feel like more filled up than the actual Thunderdome when it's just nothing but virtual boards. Like you had that, that natural crowd feeling along with, the people in the background that you could see on the board. So that combination was just pure perfect.
It was dope, man. And so kudos to the main event. Kudos once again to NXT TakeOver. We are the culture cast for the culture, by the culture. We do it for the culture. And if you're not down with the culture, we just can't help you. Worldwide, what are your final thoughts? What you got?
I'm about to finish. I'm on season 2, the season 2 finale of the game. I went back and watched it,
Okay, at least you didn't say the Parkers or Girlfriends.
I'm doing it in order by, what I liked the most growing up. Like, I finished Moesha, and my grown ass still mad as hell about that cliffhanger. Like, I'm like, what happened to Miles? Who's pregnant? Like,
Mo to the E to the Mo to the. At least,
like I remember watching that episode, and at the end, when Netflix, like if you're done like with the series or something, it brings up like recommendations for other shows, and I'm like, wait a minute, like we need to find out what happened to Miles. Like,
man, you know what? The world will never know, man. And of course, for me, what's about to happen. I'm about to go clang and bang. Hashtag what we lifting today. Hashtag every voice and sing. We are the CultureCast. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Anchor, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you go out and vote. Pay attention. The last day to register to vote is happening in a lot of states, so make sure you guys pay attention. Get out there and vote. Wear your mask and don't be an ass. We are the CultureCast. Adios.